as an expectant home crowd being 66 points clear in the championship, the free podium in history. Could be a memorable day, and really good crowd as well. Fantastic to see the stars, Lewis, don't you, after what happened for Alacia Spargo.
Of course, was such a painful experience for Alacia Spargo. First corner here at the end of that one.
The chasing pack. Oh, racing in Catalunya. It's another super.
Oh no!
Bagnaya's gone down, and Bagnaya's been clear. Turn two. He dropped right down the middle of the field. I think he got his
seen there. So in that incident, or the combined incident,
it was so scary. Pekka Bagnaia, I think he had
KTM involved down at turn one. Gian Antonio.
Two. There was a KTM. It looked like there was smoke coming out of a KTM. He's going to contact into Zarco, and then it's just Skittles.
KTM in the middle of all of that. So as you say, Binder's going to go down
early on from the Aprilias, riding in front of a big group of riders right at
your screens. That was the one kind of accident that
was technical director Cheetah as he flicked it hard left through the first, and he'll look rear tyre in the air. He locks the front. He's already there. He goes there, out of control. Was now back to the medical centre. There he is, the ambulance then just starting to make the mixture there as the crowd are on their feet. He's trying to grab that front brake. He really don't want to see. We know that Motor's good clean-up operation going on here. Let's get down.
The feeling when you're, as a rider, sitting in the body-wise, it's really hard to get to.
That Pekka Bagnaia, who'd high-side in such dramatic fashion, over a slightly shortened distance. And now you can see on your screens, Neo and Alex Marquez.
Ducati.
Yeah, the trip to the medical. Vacant pole position, sadly, with racetion in that first corner. Well, that will roll on into Mazzara.
On the 7th row, should I say.
Field here in Barcelona gets underway for the warm-up lap. Goes from that second
lot to this Grand Prix, so we can go racing over 23 laps.
Jorge Martin again powers away on that Prima.
The KTM that got away best that time was actually Jack Miller, and it's 3 Aprilias inside the top 4. Then it's Johan Zarco.
Looks like he's an early returnement, or he's encountering some of it. Stays in third.
He's out wide, and he's going to open the door. That Ducati immediately behind him, and not another Aprilia.
This lap started 9th. He's in 8th place. From 6th to 12th before he had a rapid recovery back to 7th.
Like with the orange disc, so even if that bike was able to continue running. And as far as the KTM's concerned, they will feel at their best.
Whether he had no more new mediums.
Moved on then on Jack Miller, so now he can get his head down and focus.
And the one in the bike, even though they got it back,
to get into his rhythm here. Alacia Spargo trying to be.
So it's now Aprilia 1-2 at the front of this Grand Prix. Really, we'd expect him to be able to pull away from the number 18.
Now here comes Miguel Oliveira. This is Dreamland. First ever podium lockout for Brad Binder. Yeah, he doesn't look like he's been down the floor. It's been on the for the South African. Back at the front in the early part of this Grand Prix as anything for
KTM. Marc Marquez didn't change position.
Put up corner speed here through the slingshot on 9th.
In 13th now. Last time around he did a 141.
His number 1 bike, well, that's still parked in the garage, or been a tough old weekend. 8th place, he lost that. And then maybe Miguel Oliveira also getting his nose in the fight too.
It's awaiting Maverick Vinales, making it very clear to him that
by as much as 2 or 3 seconds at the moment. For the Italian, Simon Crayfar's been speaking to Mooney VR40
on from these riders. We're having fencing and.
Yeah, thanks very much for that. Having had to retire from this Grand Prix was to go straight to
Alacia Spargo, who was running second before. Behind him, it's Vinales versus Espargaro.
Jorge Martin Bain. Keep a close eye on Johan Zarco. First Aprilia podium. Putting behind
Gian Antonio, who's running in 9th. Fabio Quartararo, he's not been able to quite keep in touch with them.
To manage that soft front, his hand forces Alex up into P6.
So Alex Marquez there, and Martin up the inside, into turn 1 and into the
fight straight back on the brakes in the turn number 4. You can see how hard he was. Half a second slower than Vince
Aprilia in the field in this Grand Prix. Ralph Fernandez running in.
Ralph Fernandez, he's into this elementally frustrating in his home Grand Prix for Ralph Fernandez. Crypto,
wouldn't it? Having qualified down in 18th, promoted up to 17.
Continue to fall off a cliff into turn 3 now. This is where you really,
from this stage of the Grand Prix, Vinales just needs to make sure he's got more grip
in time, because ahead of them, Alex Marquez.
But no one else is able to get below 141.
The GP will not be the same without the world.
I expect some riders to run into trouble, and I'm.
Yeah, thanks for that, Simon. as we mentioned, has got the gap down to 8.5 tenths. So Luca Marini's finding some speed. A 141.
Marco Bezzecchi, there's 3 seconds of M tight well have just gone in a little bit too hot into turn 10.
With the fading front tire grip, it's back up to manage this. If he doesn't make any mistakes, 141s. So Oliveira already been picked off by 1-3.
And we've got riders like Oliveira at the moment who are in the 42 up his sleeve because Aleix Espargaro is closing in.
Probably going to be okay in 5th. I don't think it's going to get too much worse than that with the factory Aprilias as Miller and Quartararo.
Augusto Fernandez for company. This is an entertaining battle, isn't it?
Maybe a little bit more confidence, a little bit more straight, sort of stable around that half a second as
Espargaro starts to close it even further. Whether Aleix Espargaro in the 142, he's lost another 2 tenths last time around.
Here in Barcelona, first gear around 65. Aim on. This is Aleix Espargaro who maybe has just this.
And we'll find out very shortly whether Aleix Espargaro feels start to be able to pick up a little bit of slipstream from his teammate up ahead.
Some of the inevitable grip problems which you always have to feel into turn number 5. Don't think he's going to risk.
Well, the Aprilia call Aleix Espargaro the captain. He's been so street and Aprilia are on the verge of here.
Place on board then for Aleix Espargaro. He clicked because for the very first time on course for the dream double.
Turns 2 and 3, so of course if he doesn't give up a second.
Just made it fit, didn't he? There was room, he had the inside clear of Vinales. Looking at the state of Vinales' front thing in response for Aleix Espargaro.
Yeah, the gap is over 1 second. Some grip left in his tyres because we've already seen this.
More lap Aleix, come on. He's not going to make that same mistake. Vinales picked him off. He's still been the showstopper late, so this will be a welcome boost. He can. Redemption is coming for Aleix Espargaro.
Better than Vinales, is it? That looks pretty. Just probably desperate for the checkered flag to come out and to collect.
2 in 2011. He took Suzuki's lap. Pecca Bagnaia as Luca Marini mentioned then, just 4.6 kilometres.
And we'll never know what kind of Grand Prix we would have seen if Bagnaia for them yesterday. But that motorcycle this afternoon.
2 or 3 years ago, he thought of Bona. It's an historic Aprilia 1-2 as well. Miller, Augusto Fernandez and the Gian Antonio in Barcelona.
Remember, it was right there, 1-2. He does the double in Barcelona.
They are.